All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining today's stream from. All right, so there's another market research with us here at EasyFX Academy. And let's just go into the chart straight away. Let's see. Let's start from XAUSD. So I think I'll just start from the daily time frame to show us what I believe should happen right now. So just give me a minute to delete some of this stuff here. This looks to be current pivot that price is giving us good enough reactions from. So let's look at it a bit better on the 4-hour time frame. So basically we can see on 4-hour time frame that we're inside that region. All right, and basically price is still struggling inside that region. And what this gets to tell me is that there's every possibility for this point to be broken and gold to still drop a little bit lower. Right, so for the meantime, for this coming week, I'll just tell you to be very cautious. What I want to watch out for will be long sales, or as it was, lengthy sales. All right, if I get to see price, give me a break, maybe below this range here. All right, this around, that'll be around 3946.59, which I do not necessarily believe should happen. All right, I still believe that gold should continue bullish, based off of its overall, perspective, overall movement. Right, so for the meantime, I'll just tell you to be very, very cautious on gold. Right. Let me see if I can drop to the 2-hour or the 1-hour time frame to check possible moves. I'm still, maybe for the meantime, let's do work. We're still basically working with our bullish bias, but the bullish bias would be, taken out, or be out of play if we get to see the zone, being taken out. But already we've had touch one, about 2 or so touches, maybe on. What am I saying to? About 4 or 5 touches already inside that region, and that region is already taking a lot of hits as it was. So let's just watch out for what price will do. Overall bias, we are still bullish on gold. All right, so I'm not going to take too much time with that. Let's go to AED card. I remember for AED card last week, we saw that price was ranging, and we've had a sort of break above that range right now. Remember, we saw that we're expecting price to give us a break and retest, possibly from either of this region. So let's start from the daily time frame also for this. Let's see what we can make of it. All right, so remember the idea is we want to see price breaking out of the either the upper boundary or the lower boundary, and then we can work with that for our entries. All right, so for this for this coming week, I think we can work with, because I'm seeing a void left behind around here. So I want to see what possibilities this might have in stock for us. So let's see, maybe on a 1-hour time frame. So I think right now we're watching out for this guy to give us a drop towards the downside, and then so a sell to buy sort of scenario is what I'm watching out for right now. But let me see, I want us to have the best possible points for the buys, and I'm not necessarily okay. So maybe for the buys, let me see it on see it on the 1-hour time frame again. So for the buys, I think what we'll do for the buys, I think I'm actually still okay with this. Actually, I'm fairly still okay with this. But just to be safe, just be very safe. Just to be very safe for the buys, let me quickly fib. Allow me to quickly use the fib from here to the current high that we're getting to see. Good, so still around that same region. So somewhere like this. So this basically is what I'm watching out for the current buys on. Let me increase it to this. Right, so this region is what I'm watching out for the current buys on AED card, just like this. Right, so this is it. Let me go back to the 4-hour time frame so we can see that better. Yeah, so buy region or demand region for us between 0.91232 and 0.91071. Right, so I hope that's okay for AED card. Let's do AED CHF next. I think something similar is what we might see. I'm just going strictly based off of correlation. All right, so ADCHF daily time frame looks like price is just trying to recover, though again we see that market opened with that sort of void around that point. So let's see if we might have a drop. Definitely we should have a drop. This is what I was watching out for last week, but I don't think it's something I will be looking out for this coming week. So let's see. In cases like this, I am just a lot more comfortable using the fib to have a sort of rough estimate of where exactly I expect price to drop, down into. So in that wise, this is actually still this is still a fair enough region to expect price to come to, though it's just very, very far. All right, not something immediate, but in that wise, I think we can also mark up this point here. Right, that looks to me to be another region that we might want to watch out for possible buys from. So buy POI1 be here, right, and then buy POI2 be for price to give us that deeper retracement. Right, so buy POI1 coordinates between 0.51822 and 0.51645, and buy POI2 between 0.51180 and 0.50787. So that is clear for AED-CHF. Next up, let's do AED, AED-NZD. Right, AED-NZD. I think for AED-NZD, all right, just sort of corroborating what we just saw on some of these guys. Now, I basically was expecting a sell from here last week. All right, so we had this supply region marked out, and we're expecting sales to happen from it. And I do believe that those sales should continue during the course of this week, or at least we still see that zone giving us some sales, right? So let's say the most immediate demand region. Let me check on the daily time frame first. Right, so the most immediate demand region I can get to see for possible buys, it's still quite far below. That's basically it. So let me, yeah. So it's this actually. Right, so let's just use the full candle. I think this works. Yeah, I think this works. So we're expecting a drop towards this end, and then possible buys from there. All right, so buy POI is between 1.13314 and 1.13177. All right, so that is clear also for AED-NZD. Let's just jump. Let's go to Euro AUD. I remember Euro AUD were expecting buys, last week. I think price just came into, we're expecting sales rather last week. Price just basically came into one of our preferred regions for the buys. So just give me a minute to clear my throat. All right, so I'm with you now. So again, we can get to see, or we're getting to see rather the void that price that came up when market opened this week. So let's see possible movements right now might actually still be for the buys, but let's start from the daily time frame as usual to get a clearer view. So price should still maybe overall still give us a deeper retracement. So in that wise, let's work with what I believe should be the more preferred discount region for us. So this one is this region is still quite far away, so we'll just hold on to this. Let me use this point to here, and yeah, or preferably let me reduce it to just the last two candles there, because that basically shows us where we have the more reactions basically taking place in. So somewhere like this is what this will be my region second POI for the buy. So currently what I'm watching out for might be something like this week on Euro AUD, like something like this. So basically means I'm expecting sales from maybe around here. All right, so let me just give us, I'm not so keen for the sales, but let me just give us the coordinates all the same. All right, as usual, I'll tell you to practice proper risk management and also correlate this with your entry criteria. All right, or maybe the lower time frames or whatever entry confirmations that you prefer to use. Right, so Euro AUD possible sales between 1.78996 and 1.78435. All right, and then the possible buys again, all right, which is a later buy between 1.76588 and 1.75752, 1.75752. Right, so I'm expecting the buys to continue for a little bit more, and then get to see possible sales from there. All right, so that's it for Euro AUD. Let me jump to Euro CAD next. So Euro CAD also we're expecting sell to buy sort of happening. Last week we saw the sales. I think the sales didn't even take us in, but we still saw the buys from this region, which gave us some very good moves through the course of last week. And again, we've seen this reaction now from somewhere here, which again is another pivot for us. So let's see on daily time for what exactly do we expect Euro CAD to give us during the course of this week. I'm going to be very cautious here. Be very, very cautious here. All right, so okay, I had to cross check something, sorry. Right, so let's see the possibility of this zone still holding, but there's also the possibility of I would love to see what price does when it gets here. Right now, I would love to see what price does when it gets here. All right, well, what I'm trying to say is let me go back to the 4-hour time frame. See if that's something we can see there. Not really, but what I'm watching out for right now might be a break and retest of this point on Euro card. Might be a break and retest of this point on Euro card, just for tries to continue the buy. Because already from the daily time frame, or even from the 4-hour time frame structure, we're still seeing that this guy looks to want to continue bullish. All right, but he just had a retracement. So if I continue bullish, then I think this would be a very safe spot for us to get in for the buys from, for a break and retest, right? So buy region between 1.63290 and 1.62995 for Euro card. Right, now that is clear also, let's do EJ, then we'll do EN and EU. All right, so Euro JPY, let's go to the time frame also. The Euro JPY, exactly, Euro JPY is still fairly massively bullish. So let's see if we can find possible entries. All right, because basically price just gave us a break above this high. And it doesn't look, the momentum that sparked around it doesn't look to be one that would give us an immediate retracement, right? So, but if at all I'm expecting retracement, straight away from what I can see here, swing perspective, I would just want to hold on to somewhere around here. All right, that looks, you know, that looks like something I would want to watch out for. So possible buys could be from here, or at least from the swing, from the higher time frame perspective. You know, coordinates between 176.550 and 175.808. That might just be like the safest bet. If you're not taking scalp trades, at least if you're taking scalp trades, there will be many more points for you to pick out on, you know, other time frames. Just clarify. Sorry, let me just make this as accurate as possible. Right. So sorry, coordinates again between 176 rather 0.620 and 175.765. Right, so that's it for EJ. Let's do EN and EU next. So EN already, like, I think we saw something similar. I already had some zones marked up. I was expecting price to give us reactions from. We have gotten to see some of these reactions, but I'm going to be cautious again. So let's go to the daily time frame. Let's see if we have anything that we might be interested in using. Interestingly enough, EN is more or less giving me the feel for a deeper drop. All right, so in that case, let's work with this POI for the buys, possible buys this week, right? And let's see for possible, yeah, because this definitely, all these points, liquidity should be swept from, you know, these lows, basically, from what I'm seeing right now. So possible sales, if I'm going to be entering for the sales on this guy right now, just give me a minute. I need to clarify. I'm seeing one very obvious, you know, order block sitting up here that I'm looking at marking out. So we have that one there, and it does look like we have reason to believe that that order block should hold, right? So let's expect something like this. Let's see how something like this plays out for the sales on Euro NZD, right? So something towards here, then, you know, dropping. So sell region or sell POI for us between 2.03520 and 2.03036. Right, so that basically will be the coordinate for the sales on Euro NZD. Then the buy coordinate will be between here, which is 1.98727 and 1.97788. Right, so I hope that is clear also for EN. Let's do EU. Then maybe we'll do maybe GJ and G also. All right, because I guess, like I've usually said, you know, I'm not a fan of making these videos long. I want them to be as short and you know, valuable to you as possible. So Euro USD, basically we're expecting buys from here last week. We've seen that happen quite well. For this week, however, sorry, daily time frame. Interestingly enough, I believe we should still get to see this guy give us a push towards the upside. But. So I'm trying my best to clarify, but this was, let me mark some. This was this break, so we had this to this. Now we have something like this. Interesting. So I think there might be a possibility for us to still see a break and retest sort of scenario happening in EU, but that's still quite far. So let's just look at this together. So basically, I'm expecting this guy to still buy. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm expecting this guy to still be bullish. Let me correct or, you know, reduce this. So yeah, so that to be okay for us to work with. So basically, we had the sales last week. We had the buys also. Right, so we had the buys also, and let's see. I'm going to mark out some key regions I believe we should, you know, take cognizance of. Right, so we have this one here. Okay, 4-hour time frame. Yeah, so basically we have that basically is where I think I needed to check the line chart also. Right, so we have that pivot that's actually there. That's why we're having this type of reactions right now. We're having these rejections from there. But I believe that the rejections should still, be invalidated. So for the scalp trades, if you can get a break and retest above here, possible scalps, I think you would be fine. So something like this would be nice for the scalp. Right, if you get a break and retest of this point rather, coordinates between 1.16539 and 1.16417 for the possible, break and retest for continuation for the buys, at least up to this point, up to somewhere around 1.16916 or so. All right, but for the long, maybe for that perspective, I want to see what price does when we get here first before I say any other thing. So this is the coordinates are marked out right now between 1.17286 and 1.16916. But I want to still see what price does when we get there. I'm not going to rush and tell you to buy or to sell from there. All right, so that's just what it is for now. EU. All right, so let's do GJ next. I'll do GJ and GN, then possibly GU also. All right, so GJ has actually been avoiding, this region for quite some time right now. And I am very, very curious to see the possibility for us to have a serious sell pop up anytime soon. All right, so let's see for our time frame. Do we have any region that we might be interested in? I have one, but I think for now, let's just work with our field. So I think this week I might be bearish on GJ. I might be bearish on GJ this week. Let's confirm. Let me confirm what I'm saying on the daily time frame. Yeah. Wait 10 minutes. Wait a minute. All right, yeah. So I'm just going to use this from the 76.4 towards the 100%, so to speak, of that point here. So basically, this is my current sell region between 205.409 and 204.231. So basically, for you might want to watch out for price to get at least maybe a bit more comfortably into the 50% of this region, which will be around anywhere around 204.841. All right, so basically you can watch out for something like this. Price pushes up a little bit and then get to see some serious sells on GJ. All right, so that is clear. That's what I'm expecting right now, this coming week. Let's do GN, possibly GN. I think GN should corroborate what we saw on EN as EURNZD. So this is GBP/NZD daily time frame. Again, very good. So in this case, in this scenario, I'll just give us something very, very straightforward here. Right, so basically this is, if I thought we get to see this zone being swept properly, I mean, that will be taken out properly, then I think it would be safe for us, or we would be safe to do this to this to this, this, and this. All right, so this basically is what I'm watching out for GN on the daily time frame. All right, so I believe that that's still quite far in a way, but let's look at it on the 4-hour time. It's not that far. It's really not that far. It really isn't that far. Let me give us the coordinates to that GBP/NZD. Okay, minutes. Great. So coordinates for the buys on GBP/NZD right now: 2.29075 and 2.27, I believe. 2.2. So give me. Let me just cross check. Yeah, 2.29075 and 2.27843 are the coordinates for the buys on GBP/NZD. So I want to see a drop or then possible continuation for the buys later on. All right, so that's it for GN. Let's do GBP/USD next, and then maybe I'll do NZD CAD. I'll check that out. All right, we're still under the 20-minute mark, so I do my best to make this at least maybe about 25 minutes so that you'll be able to just watch it and then have an understanding of the biases that we have, for the week. So GBP/USD daily time frame. Let's go. Okay. So again, we had let me just use this instead. We had a serious rejection here, as you can see. A very serious rejection here that price is still somehow holding on to. Right, so let's look at it on the 4-hour time frame. I already have, I wanted to just see the proper possible bias that we could be having there. And, we are having right now this point here. Now, this other block is quite obvious, because this is basically like a drop, a drop-based rally sort of scenario happening there. And maybe because it's a bit too obvious for me. But let's see possible buys from here. I'm not necessarily so trusting of this, all right, but let's see possible buys from here between 1.32844 and 1.32472 for the possible buys. But let's start again from the daily time because there's something I want to see there. Like I said earlier, we had strong rejections from here, and I do not believe that for any reason we should have price drop below that point right now, at least. Maybe during the week we might still get to see other indicators that get to tell us, show us the bearishness of GBP. GU, more on that, because already we've had marks of minor breaks around here. We had this minor break here. Then I guess we can use this. Right. We had this one here also, somewhere around here. Right. So basically, and then we had this last retracement that gave birth to that drop. All right. So basically, this would be the buy region for me. Possible sales, however, because again, I'm still going to be cautious. If I'm working with that bearish bias that we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks since around the middle of September. All right, it's around now, ending of October. That's amazing. This month is quite fast. Daily time frame. All right, so I'm not seeing anything so clearly on the daily. On you, however, I think we can. I think we'll look into this guy here. Yeah, I think we're looking into this point here. So in this case, again, I would advise, like I usually advise, you can just work with 50% of that region, right? But for possible sales, if you get to the sales happen first, you can watch out for something like this to happen on, GBP USD. So for the possible sales, right? Sorry, let me fine tune that. So this, yeah. So possible sales will be from anywhere between 1.34426 and 1.33905. Those are the coordinates for the possible sales on GBP USD this week. And for my possible buys on GBP USD this week, anywhere between 1.32844 and 1.32472. Right, so that is clear for GU. Let's see NZD card. Or should we do NG instead? I know NG should be, yeah, so see, NG has basically filled the void that we got to see last week. Oh, beautiful. I can't believe I missed that. Let's just do NZD card. Let's do NZD card. Let's see what exactly we might expect from this guy. So daily time frame, possible sell from here. Already from around May, basically we've seen this guy give us continuous reasons to believe that it is massively bearish. So I think if we're working with that bias right now, we're still basically safe. That wise, I think I would love to use this region as my. I'll just love to stick with that for the possible sales on NZD card. Region between 0.81549 and 0.81097 for the possible sales on this guy. So buy to sell is what we're watching out for right now. So that is clear. Last but not least, we'll do maybe USD card and then maybe the UJ also. But let's look at USD card first. So remember last week we were basically bearish on this guy. Thankfully we got to see that pan out quite well. So send your offerings if you're able to use that and make some profit. But let's see USD card here. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah. So daily time frame again. Okay. So basically, I'll still working with the bearish bias right now, and if I'm working with the bearish bias, so we have again a very, very obvious. Let me move this now. So we have a very obvious order block there, but I'm very suspicious of it because maybe I'm just not trusting enough, or I'm very suspicious of that region. So something like this is what I'll be watching out for first. That'll be my first POI. All right. Because already we have reason to believe that this high should be swept. All right. Then that'll be a sweep of liquidity. Basically a sweep of liquidity, price coming into the other block, and then we have a sell. Right. So initial sell POI 1 as it was between 1.40658 and 1.40491. Right. Sell POI 2. Let me see if we'll see a possible one, because like I said, I'm trying my best to not be so trusting. I'm going to leave it as this. I think this is still quite safe for us to work with. I think I'll prefer to work with this right now. So yeah, this will be my bias for USD CAD this week. So a buy to sell sort of scenario from that point. So I hope that is clear. Also for USD CAD, last but not least for our session today, we'll do USD JPY. And I think you can still see some similarities between this and I think that was GBP JPY, right? So or is it Euro JPY? I can't remember now. We basically had price coming back towards this, previous high. Let's go to the daily time frame to look at it better. Right, and we've not seen any sort of slowing down from price, but what we do know is that price should still give us a retracement even after the impulse, right? And as long as we've not seen this high being taken out as it was, I think we'll still be okay. And that's wise, and that's wise, and that wise, and that wise, and that wise. So I just saw something. I want to say how we're going to make use of this. Because again, like we still have this we still have this void that price at the very least will try its best to come and fill later on. Right, so if that's what we're working with, let's see. Very good. So in this case, let's see a possible sweep of this eye. So basically what I'm trying to say right now, let me go to let's see if I can zoom in so that it will be as clear as possible. So I want to see price sweeping this eye, and then I want to see the sell happen. So basically I want to see this eye being taken out. So I'm trying to say, right? So maybe a candle, sometimes at least from what I've seen of recent, right, you might actually have more than just one candle being, breaking above that high. All right, you might have maybe some other candles that will be there, but it will just be price taking out that eye, sweeping that eye first, then you have the drop. All right, so for the meantime, I think I'll be bearish on UJ, but I'll tell you to watch out for any reaction from. I can't really give us a proper zone right now. So basically, but this is the idea. Basically, I want to see price sweeping above this eye, taking out this eye first before watch out for sales. That eye is around 153.290. So you can corroborate this with what you can see on your chart. Like I usually tell you, these values will vary depending on your broker. All right, so please do well to cross-check with what you see on your own, chart or your own broker. Yeah. And what again? I think that's all. We've actually done a couple of commodities together. All right, so as usual, practice proper risk management. I do not want you to lose your money. I do not want you to basically I don't want you to lose your money. And I'm very sure we're going to have a profitable week. Have a lovely rest of the week, guys. Bye bye.